Today is finally the day, y'all. We are getting the first look at the new Axiom Vendetta toy hauler. This is one of their two fifth wheel RV options that they will have. This is the toy hauler model here, and if you don't know, this is so exciting because Axiom is a brand new fifth wheel RV brand coming to market for 2025 going into 2026, and with them being a completely new RV brand, obviously they have to be doing a few things differently than anybody else to feel like there's space in this industry for another fifth wheel RV brand, and they are doing just that. So we are gonna go take a look. Come on, let's go. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Myles with Firmly Unbound, and today we are here taking a look at this new 2026 Axiom Vendetta. Now, I don't even know how much information they have published online about these Vendetta models here, but you can see from the side, this is their midnight edition on here. And now this is gonna be my more full comprehensive tour on this fifth wheel RV. So because it's my first time looking at it, bear with me. I am trying to process, digest, and then communicate as much information as I possibly can about this fifth wheel RV. This video might be a little bit longer than what my videos typically are, but this is our first time getting a look at this, so it's proper to really try to take a second to understand everything that we are taking a look at here as thoroughly as we possibly can. So that's my goal and my intent here. Even with that being said, sometimes I accidentally, unintentionally misspeak about something. Sometimes I forget to mention something. So if you have any additional questions, let me know down below in the comments. And then if I do happen to misspeak on something, please know that that is not my intent. I'm gonna try my absolute best to go through this without misspeaking on anything or missing anything, but I'm not perfect. So we will try our absolute best here. So starting up front on this fifth wheel RV, you see this massive front cap. This is truly the biggest front cap on any fifth wheel RV in the industry. This thing is massive, which is really going to increase the headroom in the upper deck space here in this fifth wheel. Now, one of the biggest things that is contributing to being able to build such a bigger fifth wheel RV than what we see standard is the fact that they are doing a mini split air conditioning system. So up along your roof, unfortunately I don't have a ladder anywhere out here to get up onto the roof because these don't have ladders already installed on them. They have the bracket for a retractable ladder, but up along the roof there are no AC units on the roof. There are no skylights in the roof, and there are no vents in the roof. So they are making it a less hassle, more maintenance-free type of roof design. And a big portion of that is the fact that they're going to these mini split AC systems that sit here underneath this fifth wheel RV, removing any sort of AC units from the roof, which means they can still get that 13 foot 2-inch, somewhere around there, height on this fifth wheel RV. So overall height right above 13 feet. But while every other fifth wheel RV out there in the market is at that like 13 and a half foot mark, that includes the height of the ACs up top, which are probably at least about 8 inches tall, maybe 10 inches tall. I don't know exactly the height of those AC units, but nonetheless, they took all that additional space, still built this ceiling or this roof up to that same height, but now you get all that space on the inside of the RV versus it being allocated basically for the height of the RV on the outside with those AC units. And really that's just, that regulation is there and in place to make sure you can go under bridges. So now that gives them almost a whole additional foot to work with on interior space inside of here by not having roof mounted AC units. So pretty unique thing there. That's why we get a bigger front cap here. You do have a windshield there. This is again their midnight edition, so it's all black here, and this is all a painted molded fiberglass front cap. Even can see some details here, like where they have this, you know, it looks like a silicone around the LED lights. Like you can see the fingerprint from the person that pushed that in there to make sure it's all sealed properly, which that is good to see. You have the Kurt Helix pin box up front, so a nice coiled pin box there to absorb shock as you go over bumps. Have the seals down underneath here to seal all this off properly, because some other brands don't do that. And then down through here we have this pull-out storage tray in the front storage compartment. Now, another huge thing that is different about this fifth wheel RV is instead of doing aluminum framing throughout this entire fifth wheel RV, it is all steel framing on this fifth wheel. So a much stronger metal than aluminum, and that is one of the only fifth wheel RVs in the market that will be doing a steel frame around their unit. So really cool, interesting opening there for that storage space. Then we come along this side, you can see the siding does go all the way down around the drop frame area right here. So it does kind of enclose all of this, so when your slides are closed up and everything's pushed close together, it's a pretty nice seamless look down the sides here. We have another thing that you really can see better at night, but right here we have this LED light strip that runs the entire length of the unit, and they do actually have this tied into your controls for where you hook up to the truck, which turn these into turn signal lights down the length of the fifth wheel RV. So they will actually blink as a turn signal when you are hooked up to your vehicle, which is a pretty nice little safety feature as well. See our storage space through here, access door to a lot of your electrical components there, and then we have your light controls here for the color changing LED lights on the outside of this fifth wheel. Also have your solar charge controller, solar disconnect switches there, and our inverter is back behind that panel. So we keep coming back this way, another innovative design. Now they're not the only brand to ever do this, but one of the few, doing an entry door in the slide out. Entry door in the slide out allows for a lot more flexible floor plan design. Not a whole lot of brands doing this, but Axiom will be one of them. And we'll go ahead and step inside. We'll address the rest of the outside when we come back out. Have their own grab handle here that it looks like is Axiom branded there, but it does come down the length of this step, so you can grab it from the ground. And then they have the composite steps. We're seeing this on more and more fifth wheel RVs going into 2026, where it's still, you know, the same kind of weight and size of the steps we've had in the past, but they're just a composite material here versus a metal. Was a little surprised to see there is no strut assist on the step here, so you do have to support the full weight of that step. Has a massive window on the entry door with a privacy shade on it. So you can see that privacy shade there, and that window is about 3 to 4 times the length of the traditional window on a fifth wheel RV. And then the whole door itself is a glass door. And then as we step inside, hopefully y'all appreciated the thumbnail on this video. I actually took the thumbnail picture on a different day while I was here. I waited until there was a day with a good sunset to come and get that thumbnail picture for y'all. So that was not photoshopped or anything like that. That was just a great sunset, really highlighting how nice this RV looks on the inside. As we look around, right away, like I think the first thing that I tangibly noticed when I walked in here is it feels so much bigger than any other fifth wheel RV that I could think of. And I had to really process and think about everything and understand, why does it feel so much bigger? Well, when they're able to push that ceiling line up higher by not having any roof mounted ACs, you can see no skylights in the AC, no vents, anything. I mean, they really make it so that they can increase this ceiling height in this fifth wheel RV substantially higher than any other fifth wheel RV. And you feel that immediately when you step inside of this fifth wheel RV. So not only is the ceiling height higher, but you also have a taller slide out box height as well because of that. And you feel the effects of that right away when you walk in. Also have the most seating space I think you'll find in any fifth wheel toy hauler. So you have the L-shaped sofa right here. This is recliner, 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 recliner. And then we have 5 recliners along this wall here. All 5 of them will recline. See, we have a light here in the cup holder and a USB Type-C port in that armrest. And then they're all manual recliners here. So they have straps or levers to recline those back, but they will lay down flat. So tons of seating space in this area, absolutely massive windows. It does have MCD roller shades on the windows. And I thought that they would be, you know, like a manual pull down shade. And in fact, yeah, no, they are not. I just wanted to double check and make sure there weren't like 2 options here. You can see there's this control right here. So you have different channels, and then channel 2 somewhere not in here. Let's find, there we go. Got channel 1 right there. You see I just tap the button and then I can let go of the remote, and it will keep coming down like so. And I can push up to make them go back up. So you have all of your shades that will cover these entire windows here on a power mechanism with that remote. And then we'll have a pull down privacy shade here as well that has a reflective layer on the back. That is also on this window here as well. So you have that in multiple different areas. And then you will have that on these windows as well. So you can actually block off all of these windows with those privacy reflective shades there, but then you get another degree of privacy with those shades here if you want to use that, and just giving you 2 options. One can give you that flexibility of, you know, maybe not wanting to go through and manually pulling down those shades on all the windows. And actually, matter of fact, as I come over to this window, a little bit different situation here, because these do have the shades on the windows at this level, and they aren't the pull up and retractable shades, they just stay in place. And then this privacy shade coming down will be the only blackout shade for these windows in this area. And then on this one here, you can see the only shade on this one will be this black kind of pleated shade that is a privacy shade there. So a few different, ways we're seeing that being done throughout here. You have your storage up overhead. Now this is where we get to showing how tall this fifth wheel RV is. See how on that, I'm gonna show you, I have to get behind the camera so you can see what I'm trying to demonstrate here. It is not short. So I'm standing at about 6'2" with my shoes on, and I have to stretch to get up there, and to get anything in that space, I'm gonna have to climb on top of the sofa or have some sort of step stool. This is one of the first fifth wheel RVs, I think, where even someone taller like myself is probably gonna be required to have a step stool to get into some particular areas of storage within this fifth wheel. It is just massive. As we go down the side, all of your lights are gonna have dimmer switches as well. You can see some of them will be like these push button dimmer switches. So that's the light up over us in the slide out. And then you can just hold down the button here and it will start to dim like so. And then you can hold it again and it will brighten up. So lighting everywhere. You have LED light strips in the ceiling. All those will be dimmable as well. And then you have the color changing LED lights up over the slide out. As we come back this way, we gotta point out this table here. I forgot about this. So you have this table as well with a pretty big base on it there. This is going to allow you to collapse this table, use it as an ottoman if you want. You can also take this outside if you want. It's freestanding. It's not like set in place in this area, so you can move it around however you best see fit. But it gives you a table to sit at if you want to sit at this area, or you could take it outside. You could use it back in the garage, or you could drop it down to the floor and just have it as like a footrest if you want. So various different ways that you could use that, and it does come with these bar stools that you see here. So tons of seating. Then we have this JBL Party Box sound system. So it's gonna come with these bigger JBL speakers to use for inside or outside. Curious your thoughts on that, because that is a really nice speaker that it is coming with, but it does not have a speaker system built into the fifth wheel RV. It's just gonna be that JBL Party Box right here. Then we get back to the kitchen space. In the kitchen space, we have a dishwasher installed, so dishwasher coming standard. Really love to see that. We have a ladder to get up to the loft, and we'll just go ahead and knock this out real quick and climb up here and show you what's going on in this loft. Looks like we have the waterproof flooring here in this space, and pretty much like a queen size bed there, it looks like, for this loft area. So really just designated to be a bed in this space. You have an outlet there, so you can put a TV somewhere in this space if you would like. You have a little bit of a shelf there, some outlets and USB ports here, and then you do have a view down into the living space of this fifth wheel from the loft. And that's a pretty tall loft too. This loft is tall enough for me as a grown adult to crawl on all fours and not hit my back up on the ceiling here. As we're up here kind of investigating, I gotta do a real deep dive going through this for the first time. I am seeing that all of your trim pieces here, they look like they are a wrapped, traditional kind of material, like you'll see. So you can see right here, you can see that wood material back behind here, likely a Luan or some kind of similar type material there. That's pretty common for what you see in fifth wheel RVs for the most part. Mention that because like you can see all of the staples where they have to staple these in, they do have those pieces of putty over those staples. So that is something where cosmetically you will see that in some different areas of this fifth wheel RV, which, for some people it won't bother them. They'll glance right over that. And some people that is so significant that it, they can't overlook it. So that's why I pointed out. But you can see as we're just looking at this area where we just pointed that out, it's not even really noticeable to the eye unless you really get up close and try to, try to dissect this thing. And then as we look throughout, like even like the slide out fascias and things like that, everything looks pretty dang good all through here. I don't see any nail or staple holes anywhere throughout this slide out fascia area. Coming back down to the kitchen, solid surface countertops here. We have the charcoal stainless steel sink. We'll have multiple different accessories that this sink comes with, various different bins, cutting boards, things like that. Have the cup rinser and retractable faucet. View of the TV and the living area from everywhere in this kitchen, but definitely from sitting at this kitchen sink spot. I mean, you could pull up a bar stool right there and sit down and do the dishes if you want and watch TV, hang out, talk to everybody. So great spot for that, and just great viewing angle with everything. Now coming underneath here, this is probably where I'm seeing my first kind of disappointing, but it is what it is. Down underneath here, we do have individual shutoff valves on the water lines, but they are all plastic fittings around here. So I say this is a bummer because this is gonna be an expensive fifth wheel RV. There's no doubt about it. There's a lot of things on here that are vastly different than anything else in the industry, but there are some things that they're doing that aren't up to the level I would say is expected at this price point within this industry. Something like brass fittings on the water lines is one of those things where various different brands at this point have gone to a brass fitting on their water lines. Brinkley and Grand Design Solitude, for instance, I know without a doubt have those brass fittings, and I know there's more that I'm just not thinking of. So that's something I would have liked to see that unfortunately I am not seeing. Let's see what they're doing with the drawers. Yeah, drawers, unfortunately, same thing. Would have definitely expected to see dovetail joints here in the drawers with a solid interior wood, but the interior of this wood here is all plywood, which is not terrible, and they're using staples to hold this in place, so it looks like we got 5 staples there, but this is going to be pretty much the same as any other fifth wheel RV out there in the market, and certainly does not exceed the quality expectations from anything else in the market. Down underneath here, they do, oh, okay, that's nice. They do have a massive plate there to support the base of the drawer. That is important. That's going to allow you to load up a good amount of weight in that drawer and not worry about it falling out. So they kind of redeemed themselves there with that, because that is probably even more important than having the dovetail joints on the drawers, I would say. You're much more susceptible to having the bottom fall out of a drawer than you are to have the entire drawer construction in its entirety where this is at start to fall apart. So kind of redeemed themselves there, in my opinion. Got your oven underneath here, largest oven you're gonna get in a fifth wheel RV, your dishwasher, and then we got the 4-burner gas stove. Dimmer light switch here as well for likely the light in the slide out right here. Got a residential size microwave, and then solid wood cabinet doors and drawers in terms of the drawer and cabinet faces. So these are solid stained wood all around here. Magnet latches to hold those in place, soft close cabinet doors, and then we'll see your storage right here. Up underneath here, we got a light here. Some of these lights have these touch sensitive power buttons there. And then we have an outlet underneath here and a vent fan underneath the microwave. And then that is pretty much it for the kitchen space. Plenty of floor space here. And when the slide out's closed, it will just come in over this countertop here. And then with this slide out closed, it does look like more than likely not gonna be able to open that refrigerator with the slide closed. Maybe, you might be able to open it a little bit, because this couch, it's gonna come in, dang, yeah, it's gonna come in all the way right up to here, I would think. So you might not have access to that refrigerator with the slide closed, but I don't know if I'll get the ability to close the slides in this video. But I would err on the side of saying it's probably not gonna be accessible with the slide closed. Little coffee bar area, backlit space right here, that looks pretty nice. And then you have another dimmer light switch here. Got some storage space down through there. And then we got, what do we got through here? 2 really large trash cans, 2 drawers here, soft close drawers, if I push them hard enough. Yeah, I got soft close on those. Pantry space, adjustable shelving all through here, love that. And then big open storage up above the refrigerator. GE refrigerator, got your refrigerator space there. Looks like it comes with some Miller Lite. And then you got your freezer portion down underneath there with an ice maker. So pretty common and standard with the GE refrigerator. See that in various different brands across the RV world. Before we head back into the garage, let's go up into the bedroom space before people hop in here. AC right here, that is your mini split AC system, also the heater as well. If you don't know much about the mini split systems, one, they are way quieter. I mean, way quieter than your roof mounted AC units, and they are much more efficient at cooling down an RV. So it's closer to like a residential AC system, and without a doubt is gonna be the best cooling system and heating system in an RV. I mean, that is probably the biggest singular thing that they've done on this fifth wheel RV is going to a mini split system standard and getting everything, you know, approved and passing all of the, you know, stuff that they have to pass to get a mini split AC system set up on these RVs properly. So pretty significant. 65-inch screen TV, massive fireplace here for an electric heat source for you as well. And then as we go up into the bedroom and bathroom, you can see there's steps going up this way and then another set of steps, or I guess a singular step right there. This part of the wardrobe here is in the slide. So as we step through here, got your wardrobe storage there. Got a couple massive drawers here, same supports underneath those drawers too. And as we turn back around this way, going into the bathroom, solid surface countertops, even the sink is the same material and is built into the countertop there. So really like that. Great ceiling height in this upper deck. I mean, it is huge, so big that they're able to do an over the top shower head there, and comfortable that that's gonna work for most people. Now, it will work for me. It may not work for you. There is a step up into the shower. So as I step up into this space, you can see I'm standing at about 6'2", and I can stand directly under this shower head. But once you hit about 6'3", your head's gonna be right up against that shower head. Now you can tilt it and stand forward a little bit, and then that will solve most of the taller people's issues. But if you're under 6 foot, you get to have a rainfall style shower head, and you can easily stand underneath that, no problem. It is a molded fiberglass one-piece shower. You have the vent fan there. Since they're not doing vent fans or skylights in the ceiling, you have it there off the sidewall. And then you have a seat in the shower as well, so you can't sit down. Good storage all throughout this area, all of your linen storage and whatnot through this space. Very adequate there. And then we have a porcelain foot flush toilet, plastic toilet seat. This has 110 gallon gray water and black water capacities and 170 gallon freshwater capacity. Absolutely bonkers on that. In relation to the toilet, we have Liquefied here. Liquefied is a black tank treatment for your RV that you can find at Blue Compass stores all across the country, as well as Amazon and Walmart. And that is going to be something that makes sure that everything that goes into your toilet gets liquefied, keeps your black tank fresh, draining properly, and also keeps your RV maintained well with the black tank over time, making sure that you don't have stuff building up in that black tank. So that's something every RV owner should have, and you can find that at Blue Compass stores all across the country, as well as Amazon and Walmart. Turning this way, a couple things real quick. We got our medicine cabinet storage here, and then we got some storage space under the sink. Nice amount of space there. No individual shutoff valves on the water lines under here. There may be a water manifold system outside too. We'll have to double check and see on that. I'm not 100% sure at the moment, so we'll find out. And then right here, this is actually just like a fake wood stuck on design. So it's still like a similar wall panel that you would see from other, from any other RV manufacturer. Just has that wallpaper essentially that's stuck on there that gives it that wood design. Outlet right here. And then as we step up into the bedroom, tons of space in here. They have the retractable bed there that is tilted up right now. And as I step up into the space, now that you've seen it, I mean, look at how tall I could almost stretch my arm all the way up. And as I step into this bedroom, that ceiling height is fantastic. That's got to be like, gosh, about 6'6", 6'7" on the ceiling height there. And one of the tallest ceiling spaces you're going to see in a front bedroom fifth wheel toy hauler. Most fifth wheel toy haulers I step foot into are about 6'4", maybe 6'5" on the ceiling height. This is about, actually that's more than 6'7". That's got to be closer to about 7 feet almost. At least probably about 6'9", I would say. So definitely the tallest space you're going to find, and certainly more suited for the tall people. Another mini split AC system here in the bedroom. So we go down this way, you see you have the tilting bed, and now some of this stuff may change too depending on what they decide to run with for their full production, but not like a fantastic mattress here, but not bad either. I think some people will be able to live with that and some people maybe not. Underneath this bed, let's see what we got going on here. A little bit of storage under that space. Got a bedside table right there, outlets and USB ports, remote for your AC system there. And then we got same kind of window setup here, wood framing around the windows, and then overhead storage with a similar style to your furniture outside headboard design here. We also, of course, have to have washer dryer connections. So got your washer and dryer here in the bedroom. Think of how easy it's gonna be to do laundry right here. Even just like being able to fold your laundry up on top of this countertop space right here. Like, that's fantastic. That is such an easy spot to be able to do laundry at. I love that. Big windshield. Another interesting thing, all this like gray piece right here, this is all like what feels like either a plastic or a fiberglass piece through that. And then this countertop here is like another solid surface countertop. It might be, I can't tell if it's like what exactly the material is, but nonetheless, it's a non-porous countertop material up through this space. It's not like a wrapped wood. Then as we close those up, you can see your shelving storage that you have on both sides of the bed. Turn back around this way, and we have more wardrobe storage through here. TV kind of pushed back into this nook, but I would imagine it probably is on a mount that will pull out a bit. Let's go ahead and check that and see if that is the case. So try to keep the camera steady, sorry about that. Let's go ahead and, nope. Unless there's a latch back here. Okay, if there's something that allows this to break free, I'm not finding it, and I don't want to pull the TV off the wall unintentionally, but I would like to see it have a mount where you can pull it out a little bit further off the wall, because when you are sitting back in the bed, coming back this way, let's see. I mean, it's not bad. You can definitely see it, but obviously it looks a little small. So I would like, if you could just pull it out, you know, towards the end of where this is right here and get it out to about right here, that would help a ton, just that little step. Have your wardrobe closet there. So remember, there was more wardrobe storage in the hallway as well, and then some big drawers here, plus the massive drawer under this bench. And then that's everything in the bedroom space. As we walk back down, let's go back towards the garage area here and see what they got going on in the garage. So as we walk in this space, okay, the door's gonna open this way. One thing to know about this door, there is this rubber gasket around the edge of this door right here, and I can do a demonstration right now with the camera because I have the mic on me as a person, and I don't know why I said as a person, that was totally unnecessary. But I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna leave the camera in here, and I'm gonna step back into the room. I'm gonna keep talking like I'm talking. Actually, sorry, this is not gonna work with the mic on me. I have to take it off, I just realized. So I'm gonna take the mic off that is on me right now. I'm gonna leave it right here, and I'm gonna keep talking at the same volume like I'm talking right now, and I'm gonna close this door, and you're gonna see how the sound really gets muted by this door with those gaskets around the edge. So I'll keep talking just like this. You'll hear me talking at the same volume, and then I'll go ahead. As I was saying, if I went even further back in the fifth wheel RV, if you could hear me, as I continue to work my way forward, you would hear me less and less. So really a good door there to block out the sound from this area intruding into that area, and that area intruding into this area. Now, as we enter into this space, third mini split AC system back here in the garage. We also have this little flip down sink area right there that tucks up out of the way. Outlet here, outlet here. Have our controls for our awning, our bed controls, and then as we turn this way, you can see a little bit unconventional with the garage setup. They have a similar to a Happy Jack style bunk system here, but they actually have a 4-cushion sofa in this space, and then nothing along this wall, which that allows for massive windows back through here. Curious your thoughts on this, if you would have rather seen, you know, taking the same bunk system and putting it over here as well and basically removing a lot of this window coverage that would not be possible. Or if you like just having this kind of bed set up, you can see the other bed up over the top right here on just this one side, and that's perfectly fine with you. That's a pretty thick mattress here as well. And then this is more of a European styling with the base of the bed right here. Saw that a lot in Europe, where pretty much everything out there had that under the base of all their beds in every type of camper. So I personally think this is pretty adequate for most people. Now, I can certainly see the argument for somebody that maybe wants to just use this toy hauler space as a bedroom for, you know, kids or whatever it may be. Maybe you want the additional bunk space. However, if this is not exactly what you want it to be, you could always take some of this stuff out and configure it to be what you want it to be more thoroughly. But this is how it's going to come here. You see how this converts into a bed as well, and then this more of your true, more comfortable bed here. Have a camera installed back here, so if you do use this for toys, you have the camera there to monitor any toys that you have back in the space. Have the patio doors going out towards that back patio, and they do have a tinted glass on them, and it feels like that's like a plexiglass type of door, and that will extend all the way up when you want that tinted glass, or you can let air in. We have a mid door here going in and out of the garage. That's pretty interesting, and then these ones have straps to open that up, but they built in this little center door so you can keep these ones closed. That's a pretty cool different design there. And then as we turn back around this way, I want to talk about a couple things up here real quick, because we do have a half bath in this model. It has this sliding door right here, so you'll have to pull this back, and then it will how's this gonna work? I haven't messed with this yet. This is my first time even attempting to look at this. So which component flips around? I always have to, oh, you know what? I think that's it actually. I think it, yeah, okay, that's it. Yeah, so I could latch it in place. There we go. That makes sense. You can latch it in place right there, and it actually just goes right there. So it's just maybe 1.5 feet worth of space or so that gives you that privacy to the half bath, and then it slides out of the way for when you want to get your toys into this garage. The door behind it, we just have a vent right there, and then we have a magnet catch right there, but you can see the rail system running through the side underneath here for when you need to get your toys in place. Let's see, if you're transporting toys too, that door is not going to go all the way the other direction, so that door will have to go right there, which kind of defeats the purpose of the tie down straps in that area behind the door. But nonetheless, you have tie downs running down the side, and then you have tie downs running down this side as well. Nothing in the middle. Now, I'm not sure how big of a concern it might be to not have straps in the middle. I don't think it's a huge problem. Even thinking about like my family, if we were to load multiple motorcycles in here, even if we did them side by side, I'm sure we'd still find a way to get straps over to that end, even if we had to go over or under the motorcycle or something like that. But I could see how that could be a little bit annoying versus having a middle column right here potentially to also be able to strap things into if you want to do motorcycles side by side. But curious if you'd have any, you know, legitimate concerns about not having a middle column for tie down points. So go back to the patio. Let's step back here. We have an awning up over the patio, your armless awning with LED light strip in it. Nice white gate around the perimeter here, and then we have white on all of your designs here for the doors as well. We have a backup camera already installed. No speaker system out here, but remember you do have that JBL party box inside. And then finally, up in the corner of this garage, you have your TV. So you have the TV there, and keep in mind again, the loft is in the living space of this fifth wheel RV, so no access to the loft from here, but you do have the loft on the other side of that wall. And then that is pretty much everything on the inside of this fifth wheel RV. I'm giving it a quick look over to see if I forgot anything that might need to be mentioned. Hoping none of y'all are there like commenting, oh man, please talk about this or talk about that. If you are, I'll come back and try to answer any comments that I don't address in this video as best I can. But I think that is everything in the space. They are single pane windows on the windows here. Yeah, just a single pane window on those windows. And I think that's just about it. I think that's everything on the inside. So let's go ahead and, oh, this is something I wanted to look at actually. Underneath the slide out. On the floor, okay, just like everybody else, almost everybody else. No wrapped subflooring here underneath the slide out box. Not a huge deal. I don't do this on every single RV review that I do, but having just come from filming some Keystone RVs earlier today and having been, you know, kind of introduced into this industry at a dealership that sold Keystone, I do know Keystone is one of the few and only manufacturers that wraps the subfloor down underneath their slide out boxes. Most brands do not. And maybe it's not a measure that's going to make that much of a difference one way or the other, but I did want to check on that to see if they were wrapping the subfloor under there or not, and they are in fact not wrapping the subfloor. But I will say that is more common amongst what you see in the RV world versus, you know, it's nothing out of the ordinary, I should say. Make sure we talked about everything here. They're doing a vacuum bonded laminated sidewall with steel construction. They're saying that's 72% stronger than aluminum. Gross vehicle weight ratings from 17 to 24,000 pounds. Basically have super high cargo carrying capacities. Largest sidewall stacked windows with electric blinds. So just talking about how big all the windows are. And then we have no ceiling ducts or rooftop AC systems. We talked about that. 9'8" in the living room, 8'6" in the slide rooms, and then 7 feet in the bedroom and 7'7" in the bathroom. I believe that is everything on the inside. So, as we come back out this way, let's keep going through the outside because there's quite a bit to talk about here as well. So they have this H-rated tire. It's a Navitrack NRS 20. Now, and it says Power King on it. Now, traditionally we're used to seeing Cooper H-rated tires. Something is happening in the RV industry where they cannot get those Cooper H-rated tires because nothing out here has the Cooper H-rated tires on them anymore. So I don't know if that has to do with a supply chain issue, if it has to do with tariffs. I'm not exactly sure what the exact direct cause of that is. Nonetheless, we're seeing some different brand tires pop up now for the H-rated tire segment compared to what it used to be with the Cooper H-rated tires. We have the Curt independent coiled suspension system down underneath here. So seen this on a few other brands as well, but you can see it looks pretty robust down underneath there and pretty solid. With that independent suspension system, we got our generator down underneath here under the fifth wheel RV, so not taking up any storage space. Certainly an interesting concept was that, having the generator under the fifth wheel RV so it doesn't eat up the front storage space on this fifth wheel. But that's gonna be a either a 5,500 watt or 6,000 watt generator. In fact, they have it right here. Yeah, so it's this NPS 6,000 watt generator right there. So we keep coming back this way. There's a propane quick connect line down underneath here. It looks like we have 2 fuel tanks underneath this toy hauler, so likely 60 gallons of fuel capacity on this fifth wheel. Have your patio off the back. This can drop down. Now with the patio, we have the cables here holding it up in the patio position. We can see that it is cable assisted for the weight on this patio. And then down underneath here, they also have the springs there for a bit of assist as well. No additional leg support installed on this back wall for the patio setup. So just relying on the cables here for the support on the base of that when it's in the patio position. Have the step to get up into the patio. And as we come along this way, have a 50 amp power cord reel. Really love to see this. The nicest thing about this is the fact that, one, you never have to figure out where you're gonna store your power cord. Two, these power cords always get really dirty and are just annoying to carry around. This allows you to also take like a wet rag or something like that and clean this off as it's retracting back into this reel, which is a really nice thing to be able to do because those long power cords are really annoying to clean and just get really dirty. I think this door is locked, unfortunately. Yeah, it is. So underneath here, got it opened. We have our 2 fuel tanks right there, and then we do have a fuel pump right here as well. So one will be for the generator, one will be for the fuel pump. And then we'll go ahead and close that back up. Down through this side, here's another one of our mini split ACs, and then you can see there is a clear cap on the drain valve here. So that's gonna make sure that if there's any liquids here that accidentally got there that you were unaware of, you can see them. And then again, you can see underneath here your generator under that space. Keep coming this way. It looks like this is a black tank flush valve right there. See our through frame rack and pinion style slide out box. And as we come back around this way and back up, we have our bracket to attach a ladder to get up onto the roof. So no true ladder installed. It does sit kind of close to the ground. You can see that there, how it does get pretty dang close to the ground level. Not quite sure how that's going to affect towing necessarily, but we can just look at it here as how it will sit at your campsite. We have another drain valve there on the other side of the axle, so you'll have 2 different drain valves, one on each side of the axles. Have your 3rd mini split system under there and your tankless water heater. Then we have electric valves that'll be in the underbelly of this fifth wheel RV. For your black and gray tank dump valves. That makes this more of a true 4 Seasons fifth wheel RV where those valves that allow water to flow through are going to be up in the underbelly where you're going to have that heated spot to make sure that they do not freeze. Have the Nautilus water management system here and the outlet, and then you do have a Starlink connection, so you have all of the kind of pre-set up in place to install a Starlink satellite system, which a lot of people are going to these days. Got your Furrion side camera. Have the Slim Rack Plus slide system right here, which is similar to a Schwintek slide mechanism, but everything I've heard about this is that it has more forgiveness when it comes to things rattling and shaking and getting out of alignment on these rail systems. This one has more forgiveness than the Schwintek slide mechanism from everything that I hear. So be curious to see how this performs over time, but a lot of the highest end stuff out in the market across various different brands are using this Slim Rack Plus system on their smaller slide out boxes. Coming down underneath here, again, we have our storage space through there with the pull-out tray. I guess I forgot, we already looked at that. Got your touchpad auto leveling controls here, 6-point hydraulic auto leveling. And as we step back, that is pretty much everything on this Axiom. We do want to talk about this exterior that they have. See how it has that automotive kind of mirror-like finish there? This is the Noble Icon package. This is gonna be standard for what it comes with, but it has that gloss finish, wood-free, so all composite materials in the sidewall. Supposedly it has enhanced performance from like the UV protection, and then it's glue and adhesive free, it says as well, and it's impact and abrasion and also puncture resistant, it says. So I don't really want to put that to the test necessarily, but that's what it says. So supposedly everything with this sidewall setup is going to be maintained and look a lot better for a lot longer period of time. But that's pretty much everything I could think to get to in this video. Now, let me talk about the weight specs and the pricing. So weight on this is gonna be right around 19,700 pounds, and then it's gonna get up to about that 24,000 pound gross vehicle weight rating. So like a little over 4,000 pounds on the cargo carrying capacity on this monster of a fifth wheel RV. Again, it's about 47 feet, and I am excited to let you know, from everything that I'm hearing, Blue Compass will be carrying these products, and even more specifically, something I'm really excited about, they'll be carrying them in the Texas markets. So I will have these at my home stores in Dallas, which I'm very excited about, and they will also be at various other Blue Compass stores across the country. I'm just not sure all of the different ones that they will be picked up at. And again, this is as of me having this information now. Hopefully nothing about that changes, but it sounds like that's pretty confirmed that that will be the case. And I believe also the Vegas markets were talked about for Blue Compass, and I don't know which others, but this is something that we can expect to see at Blue Compass stores coming towards the end of the year and then going into 2026. So really excited about that. And price on this thing, really hard to say exactly right now, because this is going to be in the low $200,000 MSRP range. Low to mid, so probably like around $200,000 to $220,000 MSRP is my guess on what these are going to be. And the sales price, I do not know what they're going to sell for. I really am unsure, but if this is something that you are interested, be on the lookout. As soon as I start to see them coming to stores and showing up on lots, I will make an effort to go out and film them again so you can know that they're showing up and starting to be available in stock. But that is something that I'm just not comfortable saying a price exactly yet, because I truly have no idea what they are going to list these online at for a retail sales price. And it's very possible and pretty realistic, just looking at previous year releases, like Brinkley being the most obvious recent example. For about the first couple years, there was no coming off of the MSRP price hardly at all. I mean, that's just kind of what it was. And so I don't know if that will be a similar case with this or what it's going to be exactly. Well, time will tell. So that's everything. I'll go show you the side patio setup real quick before we head out of here. But if I missed anything, if there's anything else that you want to know that I might be able to answer, comment down below, and appreciate you guys watching. Another thing worth mentioning as well is they have this setup here, which is kind of like a test of concept to see if people would actually like it. So let us know what you think. But this is basically a mounting system underneath here for some sort of, patio swing setup out here. I guess it's not on a patio, but nonetheless a swinging bench sitting here underneath the front cap of this fifth wheel. Curious your thoughts on this, if this is something that you would actually consider using and purchasing as an add-on to your RV. This here is the side patio setup. So you can see how it's a side patio that's going to be powered going up into this wall here. This whole window that we see here will still be a window for the interior space on this toy hauler. And everything about this toy hauler is the same, except for the fact that this one has a side patio, which will also again increase the price a little bit on this one. So you see you have the patio doors step out into the space. You have the power right here for the patio to move that up and down, and just have a really cool sweet spot to hang out at off the side. And then you do have the privacy shades with the reflective material on the back of that for when you have this door closed and want to have shade on those privacy windows. So, or want to have privacy from those windows, I should say. So this is going to be another option. Everything else about it is exactly the same. You can see as I step through here, it's the exact same as the other model. And then make sure to stay tuned. I do have videos coming of the Imperium models as well. The Imperium models are going to be their non-toy hauler fifth wheel RVs. This one here likely going to be their staple, as it's going to be their shortest offering within the Axiom lineup at the moment. But very similar layout without the toy hauler, very nice, and videos of these are coming as well. So also have one here with a bedroom patio there. So fun stuff coming, but this is the 2026 Axiom Vendetta 4250. Very curious your thoughts. This is the midnight edition as well, so the all black glossy exterior. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, what you like, what you might suggest changing. I'm very curious to hear your feedback, of course, so let us know. And that's all I got for y'all. Appreciate you watching, and until next time, live firmly unbound.